So I just finished Blankets by Craig Thompson. It is a graphic novel memoir. I typically don't read a lot of memoirs. It just happens to be that I had read two memoirs back to back. Um, yeah, so don't expect a lot of that from this channel, please. Um, I'm also going to get into some stuff because I just want to talk about some stuff about love and my experience with love. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit as well. And so this book is a graphic novel. It is a memoir about a teenager who falls in love for the first time. Um, this book was recommended to me when I was in high school by a teacher, actually. And I didn't read it because I had never been in love. I've never experienced love before. So when you fall in love, your perception and your view of love in media or anything else entirely changes. And me, I'm a sucker for love. I love love. I love being in love. I love the way love makes me feel. You know, I'm a romantic, although my girlfriend says that I'm not, but I am a very romantic person. Um, and I read a lot of things that are about love. Like I watch a lot of romance movies. I read a lot of romance books, and I read these things because I want to capture that feeling of being in love, you know? And I wanted to read something from this book. It's the last two pages of the book. Um, he writes something that I think really stood out to me, and that is how satisfying it is to leave a mark on a blank surface, to make a map of my movement, no matter how temporary. And that's how the book ends. And I think that that is the perfect ending for this book. Um, because the love that he had for this girl, Raina, is temporary. And she kind of alludes to it being temporary. And she talks about how it is not going to last forever. And he doesn't buy into it at first. He's kind of in denial about this temporary romance that he has with this girl. And um, I think that when you fall in love with somebody or you have fallen in love, I think you do make a mark. You make a lasting impact on somebody's life that will forever change them for the rest of their life, no matter how small of a time span that was, whether it was a week-long fling where you fell in love or whether you're talking about a 20-year relationship. No matter what, if you're in love with somebody and that person is in love with you, you're making some kind of impact on their life and you're changing their life for the rest of their life. And I think he does a really good job at exploring that. Like he does a really good job at kind of exploring how love kind of changes all these things about yourself and how it's, even if it's temporary, you're still making some sort of impact. And I think that that's true. Like I said before, I think that that is true. Um, as for the illustrations, I'm not an artist. So I can't, don't listen to me when it comes to talking about the illustrations in this book. Because, again, I am not an artist at all. I think that it's very well drawn. I think that it is very interesting, and at times, the way that the drawings are structured, it flows so smoothly that it kind of feels like a movie at some points. Like I can picture it in my head as a thing that is flowing consistently. Um, but again, not an artist. I did want to talk about my experience with love. Um, I had my first love when I was 21 years old. And I was head over heels. I was crazy about her. And I remember the last time I saw her, she was living in Japan at the time because I was in the Navy. She was living in Japan at the time, and I was living in San Diego. And I flew her out to New York, which is where I'm from. And we spent a couple of days in New York City. And then we took a bus back to my hometown, and we spent 2 weeks together. And every single day, every single moment of those 2 weeks is burned into my memory. Like, I could tell you everything we did. I could picture the scenes perfectly in my head about what I was doing with this girl, and I can just picture all of it. And the last time I saw her, we drove to the airport, and which was about an hour away, and I was a fucking mess. I was crying uncontrollably. You know what I mean? And like, the closer we got to the airport, like every mile that we got closer to the airport, it would just got worse and worse and worse. And she stayed level-headed. She was very obviously trying not to cry. You know, like, she was trying to stay strong. And you could tell just like by listening to her voice, you could tell by looking at her face that she wanted to cry so bad, and she did not let herself. And we get to the airport, and we hung out for about 45 minutes, and she said, "Matthew, I have to go now." And I didn't know what to say. I just said, okay. And she hugged me, and she kissed me on the face probably 100 times. And she kept saying, "I love you." And I kept trying to say it back, but I couldn't get the words out of my mouth. I couldn't say it. Like, I just could not speak words, because I was just such a mess. And she kissed me, and she said, "I love you." And she started crying, and I watched her go through security. She got to the end of security, and she waved, and she blew me a kiss. And that was the last time I saw her. I collapsed on the ground. I couldn't, like, my legs gave out underneath me. And I sat on the floor for probably about 10 minutes. And my dad came up to me, and he put his hand on my shoulder. And he said, "Are you okay?" And I just couldn't, I was just such a wreck. I couldn't say I'm okay. And my dad helped me to my feet, and he hugged me, and he just held me for 5 minutes and like brushed the back of my head. And I remember he was holding me, and he said, "You really love her?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I do." And that was the last time I saw her. We broke up shortly after. And that memory is just like seared into my brain. Like, it is seared into my brain. Like, I have such, like, I could smell the airport. That's how vivid this memory is I could smell the airport, you know. And she has made such an impact on my life, in the way that I view relationships, in the way that I view people. You know, like, I've experienced love before, but like, I've never like experienced love like the first time that you're in love. You know what I mean? Like, the first time you fall in love, it's just like you got hit by a fucking truck. Like, it just hit you, and you know that you're in love. Like, because you've never felt that way about a person before. You've never felt that way about a person ever in your entire life. like that first time that you like realize like, oh fuck, like I'm in love with somebody, you'll never experience that feeling ever again. It is a once in a lifetime feeling. And um you know, even today, like I love my girlfriend. I love my girlfriend to death. Like I think she's amazing, and like that's the thing is I don't think I've ever felt the way that I feel about somebody as I do about my girlfriend right now. Um, it feels like I fell in love for the first time again. And I know that feeling because of my ex. And this time I didn't panic. I didn't get scared. I didn't feel anxious. I was able to allow myself to let it happen. And, you know, that first time you feel that, you don't have time to process that, or like processing that is so difficult. Like processing this feeling of love and being in love for the first time is so hard. There's nothing like it. And you feel anxious and you feel scared and you don't know what to do, because it's like, well, now you love this person and like you feel so strongly about this person, but like what happens if it doesn't work out? Then what? Because you've never felt this way about somebody before. So you're terrified of it not working out because you've put all of your emotion into this person. And when you fall in love again, you don't really feel that way. You don't really feel anxious, or you don't really feel scared. You can kind of just let it happen, and like you're able to process it a bit more. And but yeah, I think that this book is good. I wish that it had found me at a different time. I wish that it didn't find me when I was in a loving relationship, because I feel very secure in my relationship. And don't I don't believe my girlfriend is going anywhere anytime soon. That would certainly suck if she was, but I don't think she is. And I wish this book had gotten to me with like, I went through a breakup about 2 years ago. And I wish this book had found me 2 years ago when I was going through that breakup, because I feel like it would have hit me a lot harder emotionally. Um, but yeah, but I'm sorry for the rant, but would I recommend Blankets by Craig Thompson? Yes, I would. I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. Maybe it maybe would have been higher if it was not a graphic novel. I don't know. I don't typically read graphic novels, and I don't typically read memoirs. So there you go. You got 2 in 1. So yeah, that's all I got. If you watched this, thank you for watching it, and thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable with you. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you got something out of this, and I hope that you got something about me talking about love and all that stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm also reading The Inequality Machine right now, How College Divides Us. So when I finish that, watch out for that review as well. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching.